How about one of you telling us exactly what you're doing right now, what's going on in your world, and the other one then telling us actually how you felt God calling you to get where you are right now.
In terms of what we're doing, we live in Tonypandy in the Rhondda Vale, and we are up there to plant a church called Hope Church, and we also run a small business up there. We moved about 12 months ago with one other crazy couple who decided to follow us and put their trust in what we were dreaming about. And so we moved up there, got to know a bunch of people in the community, and just slowly started to try and get something off the ground, which pretty quickly stalled. We got stuck in our living room with a handful of people, not quite sure what to do, until God pretty miraculously opened the door for us to have a building right in the middle of Tonypandy. There's an old Baptist chapel. The owners came to us and said, you can use this, we'll pay your bills, we'll pay your insurances, we'll do everything, you just start meeting there. So we started meeting there in October, and have been doing that for the last few months, and it's been really, really wonderful, and God's been really gracious to us. It's early days, there's a lot to do, but that's what we're kind of focused on and building towards.
Fantastic. Lois, take us back before that then. How did you feel God calling you to get to that place?
Yeah. So Ben and I grew up at Rabina Baptist Church in Cardiff, and when we were about 15 and 16, God really just gave us a burden for the valleys, and particularly the Rhondda Valley. We had links with the guys in Sporting Marvels in the Rhondda, and also with Di, who was keen to plant a church over in Pontypool in Trevethen. And so God was just burdening us for the Rhondda as an area. He spoke to us through various scriptures, through Jehoshaphat, through Joshua 1, and we just knew that we didn't know quite when it was going to happen, but one day we wanted to be living in the Rhondda and be involved in planting churches there. So we kind of went off to uni. We were involved in the church up in Trevethen, and we'd sort of been keeping going back to the Rhondda, keeping praying for that place as an area, and just had a real heart for the valleys, the Rhondda valleys as a whole. And basically one day back in 2012, God was sort of really just it was kind of bubbling up inside us. We were getting, I guess, impatient to be able to go and get doing what we felt like the Lord was calling us to. And we had driven up to the Rhondda, and we were praying on a hill above Tonypandy. And we were just sort of praying for the area, and God reminded us that actually we'd been there praying just after Ben had passed his driving test when he was 17 and I was 16, praying over the same area, praying the same prayers. And God just spoke to us and said, okay, now's the time to start thinking about going and doing what you've been praying about, going and starting something in this area. So he'd given us a vision for starting a business in order to fund our church planting. We know there's not lots of resources in the church in Wales, so we felt like setting up a business to fund what we were doing was the right thing to do. And also to use that as a means of offering employment and being good news in that sense in a community where there's a lot of unemployment. So we found an office in Tonypandy, employed a couple of local people, which has been a bit of a roller coaster, but on the whole amazing. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. Got the office and got the church. So.
Fantastic. So the same couple of points that we've asked everybody else. In this journey so far, what's been the most difficult thing for you, and what's been the greatest joy that you've seen?
In terms of challenges, by far the biggest challenge for us is just trying to pastor people and care for people. I knew that was going to be a huge challenge for us where we were going in Tonypandy, and I also never realised just how out of our depths we would feel every single day. The people that we encounter, the stuff that they're dealing with, it's just every person that we've come into contact with through church and through work has serious difficulties in their life, and you just to love them and care for them and to share the grace of God with them is an absolute privilege, and it's something that every day we need a huge amount of grace for. So that's the challenge probably that we face the most.
And God is so gracious. There's so many different encouragements and so many things that have been really exciting that have happened. One of the best things about a year ago, a girl that lived locally somehow had a connection to my grandfather and wanted to start reading the Bible with somebody. She wasn't going to church, but her grandparents were Christian, so we started discipling her. She brought along one of her friend became a Christian. They both brought along another girl, and she became a Christian. And so we've got this little group of 3 teenage girls now, the best missionaries we've got in church. On a couple of weeks ago, both these girls that have become Christians have brought their families along to church. One of the mums and the brother has started coming along a bit more regularly, and we really consider them part of our community. And just seeing those girls grow has been so exciting, and they've just been such an encouragement and challenge to all of us together. So that's been really cool.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask Simeon Baker, who doesn't know this, but I'm going to ask Simeon Baker from another one of our Waleswide leadership team to come and pray for you guys in a moment. But could you give us 1 or 2 things in terms of hope, vision, direction for the future that Simeon can pray for you right now?
In terms of vision for the future, I guess, just as Matthew was sharing as well, those guys are in Tylerstown, we're in Tonypandy. The Rhondda is broken from top to bottom, and that's 2 of 13, 14, 15 valleys. I guess we want to plant as many churches before we go to heaven in the Rhondda as we can. And we want to release as many other people to help us as we possibly can. So I guess in terms of vision, that's where we're going. And in terms of today and tomorrow, just need grace for the next person, the next broken life that we can touch with the grace of God.
Would you stand with me as we pray for these? So this would be good to do that for this young couple, pioneers, not the only ones in Wales, but they're the people that have just shared this story, and they're the people we're going to pray for right now, Simeon.